Gamer, the exhaust is burned. Reset so low, trying to steal shields off of that Janna at the moment. Running forward, the tornado connects. Civillock with the bomb will not connect. Valiancy being taken so low right now, can't take this duel versus Jeff God Gamer. W will not land. The auto attack's finally coming through. Kill picked up, and the ultimate does not connect. You need it if you're Swifty right now. It comes through. And the ultimate does come through. Civillock keeping themselves alive. 1k HP, there's no smite. It comes in. Swifty takes another one. It is finished off. New Wave Tsunami have soul, but can they take this fight? Monsoon keeping them alive in the backline. Civillock goes down with a pump in the ulti once again. Red trying to find a kill in the Valiancy right now. Ollie keeping the volley bear away. And now Give Me a Reset is happy to run this one back towards Yubi. Once again, New Wave Tsunami takes a fight, and they keep this game alive. And it is
immediately after that, they get the
that's actually exactly the pick they need. They're going in for Give Me a Reset. They're stuck in the base. The GA is there. The recall's definitely trying to kill
Reset.
Look at this kiting from Reset, keeping the speed alive, and they cannot catch the Zeri. Jeff God Gamer goes down off as best as he can. There's one Nexus turret down. Oh my goodness, Zeri taken so low. Civillock finally getting that ultimate out. Sunny from the tower shot, not yet falling. To Reset on the
beautiful Monsoon.
Civillock stays alive thanks to the Monsoon, but there's no way they can get these kills. There's no damage available right now. Red trying to jump the backline.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. It is your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster Sharigan coming at you, and I have got joining me on the casters as the ever bright and brilliant Sunrise.
Hey, I go by Sunny now, actually, I think. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good after taking down Yubi. How are you doing, Sharigan?
I'm doing pretty well. That was one hype game, Sunny. I absolutely loved it. Thought it was pretty freaking awesome. This game, I think, is going to be another spicy one. We got Trickle-Down Economics versus Team Beat Boop. Another team of 4-1s. They both have suffered a loss, but like they are exceptionally strong players.
Yeah, I hear that because the score is 4-1 each, the winner of this game is going to be tied for first with Yubi. So it's a pretty impactful game. I think this is the one that we should all be looking forward to the most today. So I'm excited to get into it. Looking like a pretty classic ban of the Kayn against Lee's. It is his most played champion by far. Mm-hmm. So I think it absolutely makes sense to get it off the table. And Volibear and Hecarim are the best junglers in the game. I think most people would agree. It's like Volibear, Hecarim, and Jarvan. Mm-hmm. So taking those off from TDE is also really good. It helps that I'm going to call him Ska-D.
Scotty,
I think,
instead of Dax.
Yeah, I think Ska-D is a really good tank jungler player. He's shown very well on these champions that he can perform. That was a really quick Veigar lock-in, though.
It was a very quick Veigar lock-in, very quick Trundle lock-in. And you're right, Dax does like to pick those tank junglers. However, I think Leaves is kind of perfectly suited for countering that because he loves playing those hyper-aggressive junglers who steal all of your camps and don't let you do anything, don't let you farm up, which would put Dax really far behind. So he's going to be needing his team to basically shore up and be able to scale into the late game. So I think Veigar's a great choice for that.
Well, usually with these aggressive tank junglers, which is what we see in the meta right now, like these engage-heavy tanky champions, most of them have a pretty strong early game. Volibear kind of just beats most things to death at level 3. Trundle's the best level 1 champion in the game. Jarvan's the best level 2 champion in the game. Xin Zhao's really powerful at level 2. So I think Ska-D will be fine in the early game. It's really an issue of can he snowball his lanes enough to make up for the fact that these early game junglers that then want to engage don't really get that tanky. Like the Trundle only gets tanky if he has someone that is really tanky for him to ult. And so far, TDE isn't showing any of that until they do draft the Nunu.
I was going to say, it's like you did mention Nunu in your list of junglers, and that was something that we've seen Leaves just go into lane and just eat the players alive, and has been absolutely hilarious and terrifying to watch. Not to mention, when it comes to smiting, both of them have a chomp, but I'm pretty sure Nunu's is quite a bit stronger than Trundle's.
Yeah, so Nunu's objective control is probably like I would argue that it's the second best of any jungler. I think Viego's objective control is just stupid because of how much damage he just does to things. Obviously, he doesn't really have a smite combo like Nunu, but I think he just kills dragons solo so fast that it kind of makes up for that. But in competitive, you really like to see Nunu when he's paired with these other objective-oriented champions. So TDE also does, there's like two schools of thought with these heavy early gank junglers. One of the schools of thought is you draft like Zed with it to get this huge snowball that you can't stop at all. The other option is you draft scaling lanes that will make up for the weakness late of the Nunu by being so much more useful than the enemy team's champions late. Veigar's already taken away in the mid lane, but Malzahar has a good matchup into Veigar, and he personally scales very well, and he's really good at killing tanks, of which Beat Boop now has drafted 2.
Right, and now with it comes to the side of Team Beat Boop, what kind of an ADC do you think would be best suited to go up against this Jinx? Because we've seen Zeri is often the popular counter pick. Unfortunately, her win rate's not very high right now, and there is a possibility, although very unlikely.
R5 AD. I don't love R5 AD.
You don't love R5 AD?
I think most ADs don't really care that much about matchup. I think usually support matchup is way more important. I would have liked to see the Jhin lock in on 3 from Beat Boop. Jhin is probably the best AD in the game after Jinx now, since Zeri is a lot weaker and Aphelios is basically not a champion post nerf unless you are the best of the best. I think
Which is where I think he should belong.
I agree.
I think that the nature of the Aphelios is he should be like that high skill.
I think Aphelios is a lot like Kalista, and that they're gated only by how good the player playing them is, not by the rest of the game. So they should probably be on the weak side.
What we got a Shaco pickup right here now. Is that going to be a Shaco top or is it support?
It's Shaco. So the idea with this pick is it's Shaco support, and you use it to scout bushes to not let Blitz sit in them in lane. So the idea is you can't really ever get hooked to Shaco because of his Q, right? It's really hard to not, it's very reactable. And you also kind of make it a lot harder for your AD to get hooked because you can basically have super long uptime wards that also push Blitzcrank out of the bush if he goes for it.
Right, and now looking at the comp that Team Beat Boop has finally shifted up, I don't think that's a Veigar mid. That is a Veigar bot lane.
Indeed it is.
So that's going to be interesting in and of itself. I don't feel like it has quite that much kill pressure early on. The Jinx is going to have a lot more, and just with how frustrating a Shaco can be, I have a feeling we might see some deadly events going on down there. But overall, I'm kind of liking TDE's draft. I really like it a lot. Beat Boop's giving me some questions.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Got some question mark pings over there.
Yeah, I think Trundle is I think picking Sion into Trundle is pretty bad. It's pretty hard for him to function. Especially since Nunu didn't take Aftershock. Sion's just going to get ulted on sight in every fight. Just because Nunu won't ever get the kind of tank stats that Sion does. I really, personally, just really hate that there's no AD. There's no physical damage from Baby, other than Trundle autos. Which is, I don't love that. Also, the only game audio we're getting on cast is Corky's laugh, no matter where the camera is. And I really don't like that. It's really,
It's not as bad as Ezreal, but yes.
Oh, I did not love that. But, I mean, here we are. Level 1 plays, you usually expect to see a lot of pressure level 1 from the Blitzcrank. But, I mean, Shaco showing the matchup, right? It's impossible. They can't walk in. They can't invade. Sweezy lost a third of his a quarter of his HP to a Shaco box, just trying to get vision on this red buff. And that's going to make laning into Malzahar a little bit more annoying, because Malzahar loves to just randomly get poke on you from his E-bounce. So usually Corky is kind of expected to just sit and farm. With a HP deficit, that might be a little bit difficult for him.
Right, and I do like the Nunu starting in this top lane. Means he's going to have that top-down clear. Both he and Trundle are starting there, so we're going to probably be seeing some action down here in the bot lane here shortly. And so I do think, depending on how this bot lane goes, if Veigar is allowed to just get free stacks and somehow get himself ahead, that's going to get his scaling that much online that much faster. And that could probably be one of the best scenarios for Beat Boop.
Yeah, I mean, Veigar, as we've seen time and time again in FOF so far, is I think it's probably the best champion in our collective elo right now in competitive. I think that it's just really safe. It's super annoying to deal with the Predator. He didn't go Predator, but I don't think you have to on like 80 carry, essentially, Veigar. On the bot lane, carry Veigar. You don't really have to go Predator. But the scaling is still there. The cage is still there. So I think we can look forward to seeing this thing sit here in lane. Nobody kills anybody because of the Shaco pick and the Blitz, and we'll just chill. There's a lot of damage.
I know, a lot of damage coming out early on from the Shen into Sion. That is going to be a big fight that's going to go on over there.
Dax gets here first, huge cage!
We got a huge cage that's going to get both those members of poor TDE. They're going to get caught out. Dax is going to be able to get a nice pillar, knocking Bob Joseph up. Ignite is down. The heal is going to come out. The flash as well. The electrocute proc nearly takes him down. If he hadn't popped that pop, that would have been Bob Joseph gone. So that would have been first blood, but very well played on the side of TDE to try and mitigate that. But that is a lot of summoner spells burned.
Yeah, that's no flashes from
we got Nudu going in as
the way.
well down there, trying to put up some extra pressure. Not quite able to find a target, and Dax returning to the mid lane.
Mizilsa has to flash a Trundle Pillar because you can. Malzahar Spell Shield does not work on Trundle Pillar at all. It just does not interact with it. You get knocked up, and then you also still get slowed. So
that sounds like a glitch to me.
I mean, it's just because it's two separate spell effects, but one of them is
the nature
literally, yeah, one of them literally pushes your characters, and that can't not happen, or else you'd get trapped in it. So, I mean, it's just how it works.
Right, and it's the soft CC doesn't count. It's only the hard CC that the spell shield is affected by.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah, so we do see that Trundle has gone up to that top side Gromp and is stealing the camps out of Nunu's base. He did question mark ping it, so I do believe they actually have vision of him up there doing it, or they're just questioning it. Really smart play on the side of Dax, trying to deny as much farm for Leaves as possible, keep him from being able to be as effective in these lanes as
I have a bit of a theory as to how they know that.
An incoming pillar is going to get Zenzen having to flash away in order to avoid the taunt from Jaffe.
By the way, 3 ganks. He pathed from bot to mid to top and got flash in all 3 lanes. I think TDE just showing a lack of respect to the enemy jungler in this early game. I think that they assume that Dax is in that topside jungle because the Shen started really hard shoving his wave that was a slow push at that point. He Qs and he autos it a bunch of times. Shen also has Ignite instead of TP, so he is clearly going for the kill pressure in this lane.
We got a nice engage going on in the top lane. Ignite's going to come down, so that's going to get Zenzen really, really low. However, we have Nudu already on his way there. Flash is going to come out, and that is going to be first blood over for Jaffe. Unfortunately, he's going to have to go under tower to try and stay alive, trying to get some extra poke off. Leaves is not quite able to finish him off. That was really well done by Jaffe.
Yeah, and Zenzen, instead of trying to go for the kill, he desperately tries to make the wave crash so he can't get frozen out by this Shen and be like disallowed from playing the game. But it does actually get under turret, so that did work, but they also miss out on maybe a return kill.
Missing out on the return kill, and really good pivot coming from the side of Baby to go ahead and take that Drake down.
Yeah, this is what you have to do against Nunu. Every time Nunu shows on the map, you need to be doing something elsewhere. The champion doesn't scale at all. He's just horrible late game. I feel like everyone knows that. So the way Baby is playing around it, oh my lord, the spell thief Shaco box was crazy, by the way.
That is a huge amount of damage from a little Jack in the Box.
Okay.
This is why I hate that champion, because you just walk into a bush and all of a sudden half your health is gone, and you're like, why?
Yeah. Also, another reason why that dragon was so free to take is that Luru did take TP, and he went ahead and based and TP'd back with a lost chapter. Ultravox doesn't have TP, so he can't do that. That's just an advantage that the TP generates. It kind of forces a CS lead, like there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Exactly. It allows you to be a little bit more aggressive with your backing in order to get some items a little bit sooner.
Yeah, absolutely. And because you get to do that, this Veigar's early game is kind of short up because it's not matched by Ultravox.
Exactly. So we were already seeing, though, the CS lead really isn't that drastic. It's only about like a wave, a little bit over one
Yeah,
wave,
you usually get about a wave out of a TP because of the. That's just kind of how it goes, right? You can't push more than a wave
I
with that
love
type
this
bow.
aggressiveness coming out from the Blitz, looking for the hook on the spell shieldless Malzahar. It just popped back up. Although
they're
he's
just
going to go
going
in, that
for
is going to
it.
be Mazuza losing the spells.
No
Thanks to
flash.
Corky. P. Sweezy is going in. There is no flash available, and that's going to be a nice knock-up and a hook from the Blitzcrank P. Sweezy, taking Mazuza down.
This is really tight on that flash timer, by the way. Like, heads up from Antunes to be there right as it's up in like 5 seconds after that play starts. They have like a really short window to get that kill, and they take it. Really, Beep Boop looking pretty clean in this early game. Doesn't
Very
change
cool.
that I'm worried about how this is going to scale with no physical damage, but
It is going to be kind of interesting to see how it does end up scaling with no physical damage, because as long as they itemize into magic resistances over on the side of TDE, they should be fine. But, oh, there it is, that Q that you were talking about.
yeah, it was so close that I thought he missed it, but nope, he's too clean for that. Does not get hit by the Blitz Q. Corky from P. Sweezy is going to push Mazuza in after that situation. It does not matter that you're Malzahar. You are down golden to Corky, and now he just presses QR on the wave and then leaves immediately. That is how it is going to be for the rest of the game. If you look, he pressed QE, and now he's out. And now he's going to walk back, and he's going to press QE, and then he's going to leave.
I love the hook grab on the... Ooh, Shaco, you were in a really bad spot right there, buddy.
Oh, the box pops. That's a lot of HP.
So close. Almost got it.
Yep.
One thing I was going to say earlier is that with the itemization that we've seen coming out from these teams, especially in regards to healing reduction, teams sometimes forget to itemize not based off the recommended items.
That is for sure. You really want to see like a Wit's End come out from Ultravox, or maybe a Maw. Probably a Maw. There's a lot of burst damage. Just something with MR. Mazusa kind of can't justify a Banshee's Veil because he is Malzahar and they do share a cooldown. So I kind of want to see like an Abyssal Mask coming out of him. It does just... Malzahar can get away with that. No other mage really can, but he totally can.
Exactly.
Jaffe is kind of dominating this lane.
Absolutely. Shen into Scion, that is a very comfortable matchup for Jaffe. He's able to just basically free farm. Anytime Scion does try to fight him, QEW, and you're dealing a lot of damage, taking no damage from the auto attacks. And it just overall is very, very nice for him. Now that he's got that Thami Cinder, he's able to just push the lane with relative ease, while poor Scion is sitting just on 2 health crystals.
Yeah, and with the Bammies, right, the lane auto pushes. So because they recently changed Bammies to execute low HP minions, it basically double procs on these minions as it like is about to take. And because of that, he can kind of just stand in the center of the wave and push it, and then be ready for any plays in the sides. I don't love that Zenzen's trying to push the wave in. I understand why he kind of wants to keep Shen here, but I also don't really know how much he can do that because of the Shen shield. Yeah, he can just get away with it.
Exactly. And for those of you who weren't watching about 30 seconds ago, down in the bot lane, Dax almost got really caught out. Oh no, poor Echo walking right into Antunes, getting punched in the face for his troubles. So they were almost able to get a pickup on Dax earlier. And had they managed to do that, that would have made this Drake easy to take. But they got it. Fortunately, just didn't work out. So I really like the proactiveness coming out from Trickle Down Economics, trying to get ahead on these objectives. In the meantime, in the top lane, Jaffe just ripping into that health bar.
Yeah, it's really hard now for Baby to take this objective for free like they want to.
Dax dropping the pillar,
Leaves
dropping
has
the
to
zone,
flash.
the hook comes out, the flash as well. That means he doesn't get caged in, but that was a lot of... Like, that was a lot of CC trapping him right there, and poor Bob Joseph trying to stay alive does manage to do his little clone disruption in order to get away, and that is going to be a easy Hextech Drake pickup for the side of Team Baby.
I was just going to say that it's kind of hard for Team Baby to take objectives when there's a Nunu with Flash and a Shaco Distortion. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think I see a Nunu with Flash or a Shaco with Distortion anymore. So they get the dragon for free.
Exactly. And then that Rift Herald, which was taken quite a while ago, we didn't quite notice it, is going to go and get dropped in the bot lane. So that is a nice bit of damage on that bot lane tower. The sooner you get Veigar out of that lane and able to run around free farming, the better for him. And so that is going to be really, really nice once they manage to get that. That's a nice chunk of damage down there.
Also, it's a 15 CS lead in the mid and the jungle positions. Both of that's worth about a kill apiece. It's like 16, 17 CS is worth a kill, so it's almost a kill.
Look at this cool noodle fight going on here.
Jaffe has not reset in a while. He totally knows he's getting ganked.
Sion trying to get him with the ultimate going unstoppable, isn't quite able to find it. We see that the rest of the team is just trying to run in on him. Finally, TDE manages to pick up a kill, taking Mazuza down. The Veigar cage doesn't manage to find a target. Sion walking right into it by accident. Just a little bit face check.
Luru just used his cage. He has nothing here, and there's still a Malzahar
no safety, so they know they can go right for this dive. He's going to get some press, going to get punched in the face, and that's going to be eaten alive by the Yeti as he gets taken down. Leaves taking 2 tower shots for his trouble, though. He's going to get brought really, really low, dropping down the frozen zone, and he's going to be able to slow Dex down enough to where he's not able to quite get the chop off. Meantime, this fight has gotten so split up that Mazuza has managed to come back up around the bottom. Sion has returned, just missing the Jinx rocket. And that is going to be a final disengage as TDE walk away with that, picking up 2 kills.
I have no idea how that ended up being a 2 for 0. That was so close the whole time. That was crazy. This is a lot of plates anti-turret going to a Jinx, though. So it's actually pretty huge for TDE after all is said and done.
It was, yeah, like that was a really well done by TDE. Get them back into this game. They have now evened up the gold. They're both sitting on the same amount, and so with that 21k, it's going to make them feel a lot more comfortable scaling into this game, because like you said, there's a lot of options on the side of TDE, while Baby's really only got a few win conditions.
Yeah, it's a very specific way that Baby has to win the game, and I mean, TDE's comp is also, I think, extremely linear. Both of these comps they do the one thing, and that's all they do, and they do it pretty well. But that one thing is the same from both teams, so I think the team with the gold lead is definitely at a huge advantage in these team fights.
And whichever one's able to get the better picks off.
Yeah, and there is, of course, mid from Baby is a huge damage source, and mid from TDE is just here to press R on people, basically, right?
Exactly. Those quirky packages are going to be really crucial in these later fights in order to split up TDE's comp. And as long as Mazuza is able to find the target that he needs to lock down, that could mean that the Veigar is unable to ult the person that they need to in order to just blow them up instantly. Not just getting caught out, but that's the power of the Q. The hook just barely whizzing by, but Corky is right here, and he's like, no, Mr. Clown, I've had enough of your games.
Mazusa also kind of in a spooky place there before this dragon spawns. It is a minute and a half before the dragon, so it's not like it's taken by Baby because of it, but it is so terrifying to walk into darkness against a Blitzcrank and a Veigar. It's so hard to get through that.
It is the scariest moment you can have, where you walk in, you see vision, and it's like you just have that, at this moment, I knew.
Yeah.
Just, you're gone.
Exactly. For the record, no MR on the side of TDE yet. Nobody's built any Merc Treads. The only completed boots are Berserker's Creeds. I think the earlier you get MR...
What did I say? Our Elo does not seem to understand. Itemization is exceptionally important.
Yeah, the earlier you pick up MR, the higher chance you have of not letting the full magic damage team snowball on you. So I think within the next couple of purchases, I would say like within probably the next reset from these two tanks, they need Merc Treads. They need null magic mantles. Anything that you can get keeps you alive for longer against Corki and Veigar is huge in this game.
I forget if Sunfire Cape stacks if you have multiple sources off the top of my head.
It does,
But
yeah. You can take
so
damage from 2 of them at the same time.
having both of those on the Scion and the Nunu does mean that when these fights start happening, it's going to be really, really useful.
Oh,
nice
no.
lockdown coming out from Mazuza, locking Dax in place. That means that he's going to get in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to run away, but it's not going to get too far. We got the cage coming down, and that's going to be a nice stun as Luru manages to take Leaves out of the equation. Scion trying to ulti, but unfortunately hits the wall, so he's going to have to walk his way up, but it's okay because Shen is there, and he's going to get taken down and popped as well. That was a huge misplay out of Team Baby, and that is going to allow TDE to pick up this Infernal Drake.
Mazusa doing exactly what he needs to for this team composition to succeed. He sits in a bush, and he presses R when Trundle walks at him. Despite the earlier pick onto the Shaco, there's no pressure in the river. They're all standing by blue buff. So that means that as Dax tries to walk into the river from that tiny little choke point, Malzahar standing in the bush basically just instantly kills him with the damage coming through from Jinx. It's just because the Trundle went a damage item, right? He went Triforce. They hope that Trundle is enough physical damage for the team. He's super squishy because he never gets to get his ult off, and he just instantly dies.
And of these two teams, the one to get an Infernal Soul, you would not want to see it be on Team TDE because the way their comp is built, those auto attacks are just going to be so devastating coming out from Jinx and burn your health far away.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so gross.
Also, Malzahar E is going to have like one-shot pressure, which is pretty insane. It is not supposed to have that as an ability. With that Infernal Soul, that huge... Oh!
Whoop, the hook
you're
on the
dead.
Jinx right over the wall, right into 3 members of Team Baby, and that is a nice revenge play. This is why you got to make sure you look at this. Malzahar jumping in, getting the lockdown, taking out the Trundle. So it's a 1-for-1 so far, but that was just terrifying for poor Ultravox.
This game is a lot more chaotic than the last one we just saw.
Mm-hmm.
I think
feel
the
like
chaos is good for TDE, though.
More explosive. We've got Nunu now going in.
Nobody autos the turret. Please, Jinx, auto the... Oh, Jinx is dead. I'm stupid.
Jinx is totally gone. We got to pull back as Lure to pull right under the tower, but he's able to get out. Morty coming in, though, and he's going to be able to completely steal off the lane. That is a beautiful package, and that is going to be another member of Team TDE going down. But the shutdown from the Jinx rocket from downtown. Ignite has come out onto Zen Zen, so his healing has been reduced. Jaffy is brought exceptionally low as well, and that is going to be the burn from Malzahar. Trying to take down Antu, not quite able to. The Rift Walker is able to freeze Mazuza in place, allowing Lure to escape. But look at this. We've got Leafs trying to come in and finish this off, but he's going to get knocked up by the pillar, and his snowball is broken apart. Someone just needs to auto-attack this turret, though, because it's still hanging on by a thread.
Why is Ultravox so afraid? It's just one dude. You have Flash. Just walk up and rocket it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. That was chaos, and it ended up only being a 1-for-1, by the way, after all of that. It's 1-for-1 in a turret. It felt a lot worse than that, to me. That was our good old LCK, everybody's mid for some reason at 19 minutes.
Yep.
But here we are. I think going into this first Baron spawn, you expect to see TDE go for it. They do have the Nunu. It is really important to pick up a first Baron when you have these champions that don't scale at all, like Nunu and Shaco. You absolutely must take this first Baron, or else your mid game is so weak because you have Malzahar and Jinx as your carries and Scion as your top. You have really weak mid game compared to Baby, who has Corki and Trundle and Shen, who all have excellent mid games. As well as like Blitzcrank just being the huge threat at all times. He doesn't really... Blitz is a weird champion. He doesn't really have like a early, mid, or late game. He exerts the exact same amount of pressure at all times.
His potential is what makes him so devastating.
Oh my
Joseph
lord!
Absolutely crushed by a club and those chompers from Trundle. Like this, the Shaco has no health and is going to become such an easy target for Baby as these fights go on. So basically, they can just eliminate him without expending too much. Look at this.
Yeah.
In the top lane. Again, the Wet Poodle little fight is going on. And with that, I'm kind of expecting to see some pressure here in this. Corky's down in the bot lane free farming, so he's going to try and push up towards TDE's baseline just so they're able to get some good control over this dragon pit. And once that happens, that's going to be an Infernal Drake and put them on Soul Point, which is going to be a really good position for Baby. And I feel like that's going to kind of get them into a very clear vision on the finish line.
Yeah, Baby just really, as we've been taught by Joshi, Sun Tzu says, we have Victor W, don't let them walk in, right? This time we have Corky Q.
Yep.
Don't let them walk in, you have full control. Please don't randomly give all control and get your Trundle solo ulted again. Thank you. That doesn't look to be what's happening. They didn't give control. Oh, Sion's gonna hit a huge ult here.
Engage has begun. The Sion driving in, going unstoppable. The knockup coming out from the snowball. But Antunes is still alive. But until he goes down, and he goes down finally right there. Zenzen's gonna get taken out as well. Dax, in the meantime, getting absolutely chopped apart by the Yeti. He's gonna get taken out as well. A nice bit of damage coming out. Look at Jabby getting burned away by Mazuza. The absolute devastation of the Voidlings, and that burn is just so hard to deal with.
Yeah, this comp from TDE is just so much easier to execute on than this comp coming out of Baby, right? You can see it, Sion presses R, that's that universal go button. His team immediately follows up, Antunes gets destroyed by the Malzahar E, Jinx gets a reset off of it. Ultravox just goes insane here. Luru thinks he's out because of the blast cone. Nope, there's still a Jinx auto following you. He probably would have picked up Sweezy as well if he hit that W over the wall. Ultravox goes insane after the 1R comes through from Malzahar. That's what he's here to do. Set up resets for the Jinx.
And with that, Jinx is going to solo this Drake, picking them up the second Infernal Drake. Or I guess they decided to go and help them out. I thought they were going to do a double objective.
Ooh, I think they could have.
Oh
my god, that was 60% of his HP. What?
That is I hate Shaco. I hate it so much. It's
what
just
was that?
So annoying.
See, so now the issue with Shaco, right, is that aside from randomly things like that happening, the game is now basically a 4v5 after lane phase. Shaco is just not that useful of a champion in the mid to late game, aside from if he gets there a minute before you and sets up boxes on every entrance and then you can't even walk in. It's really hard for the champion to impact team fights meaningfully. Like, even in that last fight where his carries popped off super hard, Zenzen got that huge engage. Bob Joseph got no assists aside from the one on Antunes. It's just so hard for it. And maybe one on Jaffe, because he was 0-2 and 3. So he did get 2 assists out of that fight. But now the problem with the Shaco is, yes, it's annoying. Is it impactful? And it's looking like maybe...
I think you can use it to block off those choke points, allow you to have better objective control. That's where it should have its usefulness come from.
Yeah, and also, minor note, this reason that mid turret surviving for so long is exactly why you need an AD carry in your team comp. They aren't here. They're like a king in chess, right?
Yep.
Their job isn't to carry the game. Their job is to make sure that if they die, you lose. So they're there to right-click on objectives, right-click turrets, right-click dragons. Without anybody to right-click that mid lane turret, it lives for a really long time. 25 minutes, it finally goes down.
Right, and now we can see Sion answering that bot lane push, or Corky answering the bot lane push by Sion, both of them with the Unleashed teleport, does mean that they have total map presence, as does Luru. So that's going to allow them to go to these side lanes, farm up, keeps gaining power, and then still be able to come join the fights when necessary. We do see that TDE did gain control of the Baron Pit, but they decided not to pressure it too much, and now we're just kind of resetting, but all eyes are on that Baron, and it should become a huge point of contention here within the next 5 minutes.
Another note, by the way, is that the Malzahar text is already being extracted from Baby, so even if the gold looks like it's even, it's actually minus 1,300, because there's an item that is 100% useless on this Trundle, aside from that one thing. But he must go QSS, or he does not deal any damage, and he is the only physical damage threat on the team. Dax has to be there first, and he has to last longer than Sion, or this comp just kind of loses the extended fights.
Exactly, and as we look at these item builds now, we do see the MR finally getting picked up. We've got 2 Mercury treads on the side of TDE, on the Scion and on the Nunu, so that means that they're going to basically be able to ignore that Vagar cage a little as it becomes a problem.
Shaco Box is going to stall for so long, by the way.
It is going to
stall for so long. Oh my god.
That is going to allow them plenty of time. You were asking what kind of usefulness you can get out of
That's the usefulness. That's exactly why. Yeah, he sets up way before the objective. He's there for a full minute before the objective spawns, or even before the objective is taken. The objective Baron's been up for a while, but he's there for a while. He gets the boxes down. It takes 50% of Antunes' health. It takes 50% of P. Sweezy's health. And then the jungler's not there. He's a slow melee champion with no gap closer. There's no shot for Baby to even contest the Baron.
Exactly, and with that pickup of the Baron buff, now they're able to pressure these lanes even harder, which is just going to start shoving Baby back into their base. It's going to be really, really tough for them to deal with these objective sieges just by the nature of their comp, is they're kind of going to be stuck under their turrets, while honestly TDE has some great dive potential.
Yeah, TDE's comp is so good at sitting here under
right here we go. We've already got the snowball coming down. It's not going to get knocked up, but that's going to be a nice pull onto Zenzen. Not necessarily target you want, but if you can get Sion out of the fight, that is an absolutely perfect thing. Bob Joseph sending in his clone in order to try and get some damage off. We got a nice back, though, coming out from the Sion in order to get away. Ultravox taking a lot of damage during it as well. Not going down, though, but the siege is continuing from these 2 cannon minions.
Yeah, it's huge. Mizusa and Bob Joseph are late enough that they don't have that, like, control mage zoning threat around them. So Ultravox just gets hammered by Luru. I honestly feel like he might need, like, some kind of spell shield or maybe a QSS himself. Because if he gets Vagar caged, they might just lose the fight immediately.
Look at this, the 5-man death ball running towards the Drake means that this fight is going to get really spicy.
Oh my god, Antunes' HP bar.
That is
what happened?
It just got hit by, I think that was a Malzahar who did that damage. And I don't know if you noticed it, but he did get knocked up and he did lose his spell shield from the pillar.
Yeah, see? Exactly. It takes everything from him. He's so useless after it.
Yeah.
Like, Trundle Pillar is so
this
good.
This is great zoning control from the side of Baby, as they know that this Drake is going to go down, and unfortunately the death of the dragon is what signals this fight to start. That's a huge rocket coming out. Jabby getting brought exceptionally low, but he's not going to go down. Jinx getting pulled back in, and he's going to get shut down completely. The Malzahar does manage to lock down the Corki, and that means that he's able to get a kill as well. Leaves, though, is going through trying to get onto that Vagar, but Vagar's just dropping bombs from the sky. But that doesn't matter. It's not going to be enough, as it's going to be does manage to pick up the kill on the Shaco. Antunes and Luru both running in opposite directions, trying to buy each other enough time so that at least one of them gets away, and that is going to be a 3 for 3. But I really feel
Antunes
like
saves his AD carry's life. Antunes is a hero.
That is the job. No, it's not going to be enough.
No!
The Shaco box in the bush manages to get the shutdown. And look
this
at
guy's
the
tilted.
fight's still going the chase. Antunes trying to get a kill onto Leaves, but isn't quite able to do it. Oh my goodness. See, that's the worst feeling as a support, when you do everything you can to save them and they end up dying.
I think that's the worst feeling for Luru, man. Can you imagine? He lived for so long to just step into a single Shaco box and immediately all hope is lost. Imagine that emotion that he just felt. He's like, so much adrenaline. I lived. I did it. Oh.
Well,
nope,
not quite. I do feel like that Vagar has definitely gotten very, very strong at this point. Bob Joseph.
They know which one Bob Joseph is.
Once again, Bob Joseph is running away. Jaffe, though, just manages to take the fight, stays full health the whole time.
Does Jaffe... Okay. I think Jaffe is just an insane person for walking into the enemy jungle like that. He makes it out just fine, but... That was terrifying.
He's a Shen. He's got this. It's fine.
They have a Malzahar and a Shaco. Malzahar ulti while Shaco puts the box down. You're CC'd for so long. I really, I think walking into TDE's comp is so hard, right? You want them to walk at you.
It is a very difficult position for Baby whenever they're walking into Fog of War like that. We have seen some great objective control on TDE, and they have created a 3K gold lead. But Baby is showing that sometimes if you play your cards right, a gold lead doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, I mean, we have 2.5 minutes before another soul. Because they do have the double control mage, they deal basically no damage to turrets, and it's really hard for them to kill Scion, right? Scion and Nunu lived until the end there. They never died. But because of the double control mage, they can control every choke point on the way to Dragon all at the same time. Which is what we saw in that last fight. The Dragon went down super early,
Ooh, going into
way
the snowball.
before
He's
they could
looking
ever
for
get in.
Jinx, passing right by Jinx, looking for a target, isn't quite able to find one.
Yeah, and I think giving Shaco this time to set up 4 is so terrifying. That was a really quick pillar reaction.
Ooh, we got the
coming out of
nice
Dax.
page getting onto the Scion Zen, taking a decent amount of damage for a Scion from this comp. I mean, he's already brought down to a quarter of his health. Pretty good spot if you're on Team Baby. Like you like that. You like that amount of damage.
Oh, Jaffe's dead.
Nice
He
lockdown.
loses so much
Jaff
HP.
getting brought exceptionally low, and that's going to be the key
Rylai's.
to extend that out. And unfortunately, he's just running away, but he does pull him back into his minions. He does do the turn. The ignite comes out, and that is a burn Malzahar. The Void is not going to take him this day, and that is going to be Bob Joseph trying to run away in the top lane. P-Sweezy, though, knows exactly which target to go for, manages to pick it up.
Yeah, it's just what happens there is you get ignited, right? Oh, Sweezy!
Walking in another box. See, you got to treat Shaco like a Teemo. He's gonna be putting boxes everywhere. They're not as many, but you gotta make sure you have the
Can they stop Nunu?
boards. Oh, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Nunu. He does manage to find the angle, though. Misses the...
Oh,
we got the Shen ult coming in. The Stand United as he comes to save his friend. Double knockup means that he's not able to do it much more than that, but that was a really good stun to keep him locked in place. But they're still going to turn on this Baron. Dax, though, just isn't able to stick around. He's too low health. And we do see now TDE deciding to back off. Smart play.
TDE and Baby just, they're so low after that contest. All TDE had to do was not let them take it. They didn't have to take it themselves.
He's hiding in the bush as he sees all of Baby walking around. He's got to have his heart pumping, but he also knows, hey, I've got a decent health bar. I should be good.
I think you give this as Baby. They have no package.
They have no package. They don't have the control that they need. Baby is in a perfect position, though, to try and engage on this. Scion decides to hit the go button, does go in. We do see Veigar in the back line, and poor old Jaffe goes in. Look how much health and how much damage he's able to avoid thanks to the fail. He's able to avoid all of the Jinx auto attacks, but it's not going to matter as Baby just gets absolutely shredded in the back line. Jinx Rocket from the support to save his APC does work. They are still contesting this Drake, though. Like, they still
Dax is alive and Leaves isn't. No,
Dax is alive in a TP. That is a easy Drake coming out. Ultravox looking for the engage. Isn't able to find it, though, as they pick up the Infernal Soul for Team Baby.
After that soul take, it's suddenly really hard against this full composition. I am shaking in my boots if I'm TDE.
I would be very, very frightened if I was TDE right now. Baby has brought themselves. They're still behind in gold by a technicality of 0.3 gold, and so they allow that push sets them up perfectly to take this Baron. Once they are able to take this down, all they need to do is just start shoving into the base, and there's nothing TDE can do to stop them.
Yeah, there just isn't. It's really hard now with gonna be Soul and Baron.
Isn't quite able to, though. Not quite able to get there in time.
It's the kind of fight that you lose and the game suddenly gets next to impossible, right? My team, it just happened in my game, it happened here. You lose one fight right before Soul spawns and then Baron's dead too. Now what? How are you going to make up for this huge stat swing? It might not even be that big of a gold swing. It's just so many raw stats coming through from these objectives. What can you do, right? You have to... Jinx needs an early reset in this next fight. Or I think it's looking pretty curtains for TDE.
Ultravox needs to try and find that pick, like you said. The thing is, if Shen is anywhere near his teammates, all of the damage from the Jinx is going to basically be non-existent. And so looking at the nice flash ulti coming in as the suppression comes out as well, taking Luru out of the fight. This is what TDE absolutely wanted to see. They're able to get a nice pick off, and unfortunately, Baby pressed their luck too hard. 2 members down, and that is going to be devastating. This push is going to be huge.
It's not going to amount to much. There's still a Corki wave clear machine, I think. I think they probably don't take the inhib off of it. Especially since there is a package online. Oh, Joseph is really low.
Coming off right there. Corki getting brought super low. As the Baron push is going to keep the rest of TDE off of them. And that is going to stall out this siege. That was a huge pick by Antunes.
Yeah. It is
It disrupted the fight. It allowed them to basically start things off in a position that was favorable for them. Nice knockup coming out from Leaves, getting Antunes brought down to half health. See, this is where
Mizusa just
demolish.
That Malzahar Q did 50% of Corki's HP, and then it did 50% of the Blitzcrank's HP the next time it's off cooldown. I thought Corki was the poke champion in this game, but clearly I am wrong. This Malzahar damage is so insane. He's full build. He's about to complete an Archangel, so he'll be even more unkillable, because now he'll get healing on top of all the damage he's doing. They are going to retry this push now that everybody respawns, but Malzahar ult's back up. It's really hard for them to take the siege.
Malzahar ult is up, but you've got the
2 more
cannon minion doing a lot of work for you from a distance, just peppering
One
away
more?
at this. Not
it
quite
died.
able to do it. But it's okay, because we got another wave coming up. And it's also got a cannon minion. So that is going to be the mid turret going down. Luru trying to find the flank. Doesn't
my God, this snowball.
It's going to be huge, but the cage is also going to freeze him in place. The absolute zero is going to come out, get a lot of damage off. Corki in the back is caught off by Zenzen. Baby has basically separated all of TDE. They're just picking them off one by one. Mizusa trying
Jaffe's
to finish
dead.
off Jaffe. Isn't quite able
he's
to. The
not.
minion's not doing enough damage, and unfortunately, he's going to get taken down. Zenzen is trying to find that target, but that is a huge push for Baby. They're going to be able to try and take this turret down. It was just so devastating for them.
Jaffe is just a monster, right? He creates so much space for his backline here. There's 2 tanks that get pretty big engages onto Baby, but Jaffe solo zones 3 people while they just murder a Scion who got ulted by Trundle. So, yes, it's hard for them to deal any damage because they're full magic damage, but Trundle gets rid of all your MR. Now what? It's just looking
exactly. Yeah, Shen may be a ninja, but he's kind of that one who's like, stand behind me, has the epic Naruto stance. His talk no jutsu is just able to distract too many people.
Yeah, even just watching the replay, that flashing Q was, or that E flash was insane. Like, I didn't actually see it in the last fight. I just saw how much space he generated. That was wild, bro. That was wild, man.
That was really, really wild. And with this push, we're probably going to see an inhib taken down.
I think we see the game. I think we see the game. There's really long respawns. Yeah, I think it's going to be GG. Shaco can't really solo clear the wave.
No,
he can kill Jaffe, but what else?
Bursted down and taken out.
Yeah, that's GG. Nice game from Baby. Looked really hard for a while there, but somehow Jaffe pulls the out of the rabbit, and it's just done.
That is absolutely amazing. Team Baby pulling out the win. They are now 5-1, which puts them tied with UB, and that is going to be a absolutely wonderful feeling for them.
Yeah, that feels great for Baby. Just ending off of such an insane play from your top laner. Antunes gets the hook on Jinx, so she loses 50% of her HP to allow for that EQ flash one shot. But I don't love the comp. I want to see like a more standard comp coming out of Beat Boop next week. I think they won because of really good individual mechanical plays, but they, as a team, really showed that they can cut it in these long games today. The only other long game they've had was against UB, which they did lose. So I think Baby leaves this feeling pretty good. They improved on their late game team fighting, and Jaffe and P. Sweezy did a million damage. Antunes looks really good on these hook champions. It's hard to get him off of all of them because there's 4 of them, so you can't spend 4 of your 5 bans on not letting Antunes hook your carries. I don't know.
I liked the choice by Bob Joseph to pick up the Shaco support in order to counteract the Blitzcrank. However, I feel like a more traditional frontliner would have been a little bit better, or some kind of defensive enchanter, just because of the amount of damage that they were able to put out, Baby was able to put out, and just the amount of zoning Jaffe was able to create and just extend these fights longer than you absolutely wanted them to be. So with that, we're going to be right back, folks. We'll take a quick glance at the FOF Connect so you can kind of read up on the power rankings in there. We'll be right back with our winners. Don't go away.
Hello everyone, Chris Edgeworth here with Luru out of the bottom lane, and I want to congratulate you on this big win. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, thank you.
Let's dive right in. This was a very interesting game all the way around, both the draft going into it and the game itself. Let's start first with the draft. You find yourself in the bot lane with the Veigar. This is something that I am a big fan of. I especially like the mages in the bot lane. I think that's gives a lot of flexibility to teams. It's not as good as it once was, but it's still something that I think teams should consider. You also had the Shaco support into the Hook City with the Blitz. What are your thoughts overall on the draft that you folks had in prepping for this game?
I think just Veigar's a really good flex for us. We play at mid, play at bot. Teams don't know where it's going, and then I think that Veigar is really good into Jinx, Zeri, and all those non-mobile AD carries. Free win. That's my opinion with the Veigar. And then we just gave Antunes a Hook champion because he just carries the games with the Hook champions. And then we also knew they were going to play Nunu, so Veigar is pretty good into Nunu. Makes his life miserable. That's about it for draft.
Right on. Yeah. No, that sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the game itself. Overall, it was a very interesting back and forth game. I think both teams came out and showed us something interesting on both sides. I want to get your thoughts overall on how you felt the game played out, both through your lane in this matchup, but also just how it played overall for your team and the ability to pull back and get this win.
I think it went mostly to plan. Shaco's support is definitely threw a few wrenches, and then I fucked up with my TP top and then blew my E, so that set us back. But for the most part, the game went to plan, how we planned it out. And we were very confident in winning, especially because like we don't respect the enemy team very much, and the Jinx mispositioned quite a bit. Yeah.
Well, I think that says enough. Luru, thank you so much. We do want to catch up with you some more soon. But before we step away, any final thoughts?
Yeah, shout out to Antunes, single-handedly carrying the game, and then the Jaffe flash on the AD carry. That's my shout out. And then also, UB, we're coming to destroy you next game.
All right, well, folks, that's it for this third interview. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with our final game of the night, so don't go too far. I'll be back very soon.